Hello, welcome back to BlenderSushi Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna continue with the live noding from the other day. The poke, kind of the poke setup that we create using Sverchok. I'm attempting to do the same thing, but in a simpler kind of way. So I didn't know if this is gonna work, but I have some idea on how to do it. But anything can go wrong. So let's just do it. File, save as. This is a Sverchok poke simpler. Let's try with the icosphere. Okay, my idea is kind of like subdivide this guy like before, but I'm going to also duplicate this object and then keep the original shape. And then with the original shape, I will try to I'm gonna use another icosphere, but with less subdivisions, and I'm gonna use this as influence. I'll show you what I mean soon. So we have to name this properly. So this is subdivided one, and this guy is the dynamic paint one, and we have this guy, original. Better name it properly. So original, and then alright, the dynamic paint one, I'm gonna use it with the I'm gonna parent it to this guy, and then I'm gonna do the duplicate, and with the duplicate. Okay, apparently with the duplicate it doesn't quite work, because this guy, we cannot just turn it into dynamic paint. So I'm gonna cancel that plan. I'm gonna bring this guy in. I'm gonna use Sverchok, okay? So I'm gonna duplicate this guy and then rename this as original. So with the original guy, we're gonna open Spreadshop, and we're gonna use let's say box. Let's use box first, and bring in our icosphere, and we're gonna instance output, okay, image viewer mk2. I'm gonna use the viewer first to check polygon and matrix in application matrix. So I'm gonna do something like that. I'm gonna scale the box. This guy that's being currently being instanced will be used as our influence. So if we want to poke our mesh, but poking it using the original vertices, and I'm gonna use these boxes as influence. Hopefully this works. Let's turn on merge and plug in that guy to that guy. Now we have the instance objects, and this guy, you see, I believe it's should be pretty close to our subdivided objects. It will be better if the subdivision one actually keep it as simple. So with this guy, we can just turn it into dynamic paint. dynamic pane brush, and our subdivided as our dynamic pane canvas. You see the influence happening, and then we gonna put this on the top, actually put it on the bottom, and then let's see if everything works as planned. The brush should be a Vertex Weight. Weight on, and then output should be dynamic pane weight. I think we are ready to test it. So let's get back to this guy and then use the displacement map and then displace it, controlled by the weighting. There you go. That's our poke. Right? It's much simpler. See, sometimes with things like using add-on like Spreadshop, sometimes you do something that's really complex, and then after you spend some time making all the nodes and then everything works, and then you suddenly realize, hey, I can kind of summarize some of the nodes into maybe use one like a Blender features instead of recreating it in Sverchok. Of course, if you're able to recreate it in Sverchok, that means you learn like a big amount of like information, you know, like you learn something. But if you just sometimes with things like this, it's a matter of kind of figure out, kind of like makes everything like making like an abstract, turn everything into like numbers that you can kind of parameterize, make it into like a parameter attributes, and then okay, you kind of now everything makes sense. Now you try to recreate it another way, and this is, you see how simple this is. We only use Sverchok just to create the weight influence for this guy. Of course, this actually it has probably like limitations, but if it works, it will work, you know. We can even like, you can still control the strings and perhaps do like cloud kind of texture. And let's hide this guy with the cloud. You can use perhaps empty object. You can have that kind of effect. It's poking and everything is very fast and interactive. We can hide this guy actually, still work. And with this you can increase the strings. The mid level can be 0 or the opposite. We can do the opposite. That looks can be what you want. So we can turn this guy off and then create another displacement, and with this guy just have a negative strings, and you have this shape. So this is another way you can have this result. Pretty interesting, right? If you are happy with it, just duplicate it, you know, or just apply everything. I was gonna display it with a matte cap because it looks nice this way. Probably gonna use gonna take a snapshot of this for the thumbnail for my live noding video. Now if you want to make it more like a procedural, you can do the vertex weighting inside Sverchok. So it's called vertex group weighting. You can even colorize it if you want. You can colorize the vertices that goes inside and using this vertex color. So it's really interesting once you understand how this attribute transferring and the points, how I'm using dynamic pane quite often. I don't know if dynamic pane was meant to do this kind of thing, but it's almost as if it was made for like a node procedural kind of setup like this. So with vertex group weighting, it might be a little bit, just a little bit more complicated. Vertex group weighting, and we can apply it to the icosphere subdiv. And let's see, if we currently we are using the dynamic pane weighting. I believe we also now have the, once I plug in like a random vector mk2, for example, plug this into the vertex weight with the indices on, vertex group weight. I might need to create own weight. So this is gonna be Sverchok 1. Specify that. Okay, SV weight, and then let's make like a 300, 400 random numbers, plug into the weight, and then just use range integer for the index. How many points do we have on this subdivided icosphere? Looks like it's kind of frozen. Function expected float, not a tuple. Function weight expected float, not a tuple. Maybe it doesn't like this guy so much. Just plug into that guy. Let's check how many do we have. So this is our objects. Let's use a list length. Stethoscope 42. It cannot be 42 for the one that's being subdivided. This is 42. One, 4, 4, 4. So that's quite a lot. 1, 4, 4, 4. 42, 1, 4, 4, 4. 42, 1, 4, 4, 4. You can use the setup from the other day, but let's use a quick, easy, hacky way. Maybe we can just use slice, just get the points. So we have 1, 4, 2, 2. Okay, because it's already a wireframe one. Forgot. So back to this guy and then get selection. Now we have 242. So from the original, we have 42 points or 42 vertices. It becomes 242 after we subdivide it. But there are 42 original points that we can use, okay, that we can slice. So if we use the slicing and slice it from 1 to 42, I believe we have the original points. Maybe. Or 43. maybe more actually. This is the POST modifier one. Let's turn off this guy. I try to get the points at the poking part. Zero, 37. How weird. It doesn't give me that result. It's not displaying it. There we go. That's what we want. So it's a 200 new vertices and then 42. So we kind of slicing it. So we have the points that we need, and so we can use this number for our weighting. See, I think 242, and then the weighting can be random number. Sverchok weighting. Kind of, it will start doing it once we give the vertex weighting. So random weighting value between 0.1 and 1. The count 242. Currently it's going to be random, and just slightly slow, but I think we can use the setup from the other day. I thought that we can use the slicings. I'm pretty sure we can. We just need to give it a value of weight of 1 for the original vertices, and then 0 for the rest. How are we gonna do this? So this is the whole points, and then this is the weighting. Currently it's random. I think I can generate like a pattern of numbers. Well, I just grabbed the setup from the other day. Spreadshop import from here. Hexagonal pattern. Seems to be calculating something. Okay, grab this guy. We just need the masking. Cut the cut. So grab our objects and then get selection and grab this guy. Get selection. Okay, and we don't need this. Let's check our pattern of boolean. This should be like true and false, and how many of them should be 2 for 2. Yeah, 2 for 2, and let's check the data. Vertex. It says false. False on all of them. There must be something wrong. Maybe this value. Now hopefully this gives the right value now. All false. Maybe it's already being pushed by this displacement. Oh well, anyway, this yeah, the last bit doesn't quite work as I planned. It should work though. It's kind of try to get the points. We try to get the true and false. Okay, apparently we have true here now. It is working. That's weird. Now let's see. We're gonna use this guy. Plug it into the Vertex Weight. While random, let's create a range integer here. Once again, 2 for 2 and count 2 for 2. Plug into this guy. So hopefully this Vertex weighting from Spreadshop transfer into this guy. Currently it's not, doesn't seem to be happy with the number. Maximum recursion. Yeah, it's not happy with the list here. No, still not happy. Maybe I need to convert it. Okay. This length. 242, that's correct. Check the data. False, 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 and then true, true, true. It's supposed to work. False, 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 true, true, true. Maybe I need to use convert, socket converter. So this is the data, which is true and false, and then plug into the weighting. Hopefully it's become 0 and 1. And it doesn't seem to work either. Yeah, I guess this false and true. Currently it's Boolean. I need to kind of convert it. How to convert Boolean into 0 and 1. Oh well, I'm just gonna leave it there. But basically, we want to transfer the weight properly from the original points into the subdivided mesh. Kind of a way that same way we do it using dynamic paint right here, which is already happening really. With dynamic paint, it should work. Yeah, okay then. So I guess that's pretty much it for this another alternative to do the poking. This will apply to any kind of objects quite easily. And the nice thing about this, of course, because we are using Blender own Displace Modifier, it's using the normal already and everything is taken care of. This thing is really, really fast. Okay, so you don't need any other complex stuff. But if you can make this work, it's nice also because you have more control over the Vertex Weight in Sverchok. Just create the pattern in Spreadshop and then transfer it into the mesh to be displayed. Okay. If you have any comments, feedbacks, suggestion, you can leave it down below. I'll see you in the next live noding video.